Circus Cities is a new Circus Talk original video series by me, your Think Like an Acrobat host, Shenea Stiletto. In each episode, I will explore a city with a vibrant circus community by sitting down with artists and service providers who reside in this circus city. The conversations will range from basics to specifics, from job opportunities and training space to living opportunities and conditions, including visas and work permits. This series is designed to equip you with everything you need to know about these circus cities so you can see what's out there and feel confident in your decision to permanently or temporarily relocate or not. Next episode, Berlin. Hi everyone, welcome to Circus Cities Spotlight Berlin. I am your host, Shenea Stiletto. It is so fantastic to spotlight Berlin. Berlin is one of my favorite circus cities in the world. I have spent so much time there over the years, but not lately, as I was discussing with our guests right before we started recording. The pandemic has changed some things. This is the longest that I've never been in Berlin, so this will be a wonderful way for me to understand how the city has changed, how it's growing, how it's diversifying, how it's changing. And I think this will be a really fun episode because Berlin is so fun. And if you have never been there, please take the opportunity to go. Berlin is fun, it's dynamic, it's wild. It's got a variety of circus. I mean, you don't think about Berlin without thinking about the Winter Garden, without thinking about Chameleon, without thinking about Flick Flack, without thinking about Circus Roncalli. There is so much that goes in and out, and that's also static in Berlin. So to get started, I want every single person to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what you do in Berlin.
And who's gonna start? Okay, probably I'm gonna start. I understood. So we have no. Okay. So my name is Ivan Luzan. I'm the Master of Arts. I'm director of shows, theater, circus, and events. Voila. So I live in Berlin since very long time, about 17 years, I think so. So I'm native Ukrainian. I'm born in Kiev, and I was studying in Kiev. I did all my education I did in Ukraine. And yeah, like I said, since 17 years, I was an artist before. I was acrobatical dancer, and slowly, I became a director, which is make more fun for me, of course, because I have possibility to make the ideas from my head to give to the artist, and it's fun, and it's not a work, it's a hobby. It's a hobby, it's a work. So for me, it makes fun to work with the artist and to develop, to create something new in the circus or in the theater, or to combine those things together. Voila, voila.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, I will continue. I'm Bertan Canbeldek. I'm born and raised in Berlin, and I started out first in a child circus, like many Berliners do when they start circus. It was in Kreuzberg, and yeah, there I discovered my first steps on the stage, and yeah, I realized this is something I want to do for a living, I guess. And then I started to continue and to look into schools. And there was a school in Berlin, which was really handy. And I applied, I got accepted. And 4 years later, I graduated. And Ivan Luzan, who just introduced himself, was the director of my graduation show. And yeah. This was 2010, and since then I had the immense luck to be surrounded by amazing artists and tour the world, but always come back to Berlin as my base, and which we'll talk later about, which is it's a fantastic base to have.
Great. Liz, Brennan?
I guess I can go next. I came to Berlin first in 2004. I trained as a dancer in New York and worked for dance companies, and kind of fell into circus by accident. Ended up on a tissue in a show, and then completely just kind of refocused my changed my focus. And so I worked in Berlin as a soloist for probably almost 15 years, and did the rounds of all the varietés. This is when most of the work was happening in variety and corporate events, so this kind of thing. And then started with a duo show around 2014. And also in 2017, I opened a training space together with my partner and husband in Berlin called Q Space. And Q Space has been since 2017 through many kind of evolutions already. But at this point, we have professional training membership available that happens up until about, actually we have 2 spaces now. We just expanded, so we have 2 studios, so pretty much training is possible almost 24/7. But we also have a kids program and an adult recreational program, and we produce shows that have been in various places. One Chameleon for a short time, and around.
Fantastic. And Brennan, please.
Nice. Yeah. My name is Brennan Figari. I came to Berlin in 2016, originally for a contract at the Wintergarten Variety, and I just kind of never left after that. So I also have I've also kind of made the rounds. I was an owner of a studio here as well in Berlin, and now I'm back freelance. So I do a lot of coaching and choreographing. I coach also at Friedrichstadtpalast, which is a large show here in Berlin, working with their dancers, teaching them aerial work, incorporating that kind of aerial acrobatic side of things into their shows there. I train with Liz at Q Space, and I also teach there as well. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, that's so great. Everyone has so many different backgrounds and came to Berlin in so many unique ways, which I really love. I love the Friedrichstadtpalast. I also didn't mention the Palazzo, which is also, heavily in Berlin too. Are there any other companies that are more like standard, that are based, that you feel like are staples within Berlin? Or do you think we hit them all?
I feel like the 3 are and they're totally different, which I think is also what's so fascinating. We have Wintergarten Variety, which is kind of this classic old school variety circus. We have Friedrichstadtpalast, which is this very kind of Paris, Las Vegas grand show, all the sparkles and spangles that you could want. And then we have Chameleon, which is a lot more contemporary, and it's such an interesting mix for me.
And plus, I think so Palazzo, I have no idea how many years they already based it in Zoom, right? Mm-hmm. So they like at least, I would say, 8 years in the base. Before they were, I started with Palazzo in Berlin in 2006, I think so. So in that time we were also in Hauptbahnhof, in the main station. It's many years ago. but they also, I think so, Hans-Peter Wodetz, he takes his place there, and I think so it's a good thing. I mean, Berlin need a dinner show. I mean, I agree with Wintergarten, with Chameleon, but the dinner show like itself, like dinner show for 4 hours. By the way, I saw this gentleman Bertrand last year in this wonderful dinner show, and I think we really need this. So it's nice that they found the possibility just to stay longer. I mean, it's very cool.
That's amazing.
Before that, we had Pump Duck and Circumstance. I don't know if anybody remembers that, or I'm dating myself.
Oh, yes.
No,
not at all.
It's already history, but it's wonderful.
It's important for everyone to know where it started, because sometimes when we're in certain cities, people think that whatever they see right now is exactly how something started, and it's good for people to understand. Like, no, it was this completely different name before. The concept was similar, even where the concept came from. It's sometimes it can be attributed to people that just kind of came in, and it's good to respect the people that helped to build.
I think so. It's also very important. What actually I feel in our society it's missing, this to know a bit the story. to know a bit the story of varieties, to know a bit the story of acts, what was done before, like 40, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and somebody start to come and say, you know, it's a fresh idea, it's a fresh thing. You say like, okay, let's do the research. Let's do it. I will show you what is it. And
I'm not so sure.
I have an idea. I have an idea. I know. I have a vision. I know this. I know that. And you're like, okay, let's start from the. But you know, the thing is, they're really disappointed later on because they say, okay, have a look here, have a look here, have a look. I'm not the first one. No, but the thing is, it doesn't matter what you do on the stage, but how you do it. If you do it differently, if you do it by your own, if you do it with your personality, do it unique on your own way. So why not? I mean, I agree that we can take the story, but of course, what I'm thinking in every school, in Ukrainian school where we're studying, in Berlin school, or you take in France, or what on even in Montreal, we don't have this knowledge. We don't have this base of this the story of not the circus, even variety, acts, and everything. You know, like for example, like Anatoly Zalewski was the first guy who was staying on the floor, the handstand. You know, so we have to have this base, and I think so for the young generation it's important because this question of development of fresh acts, new ideas, and everything, you have to, like in dance, you have to have a base. Classic base, then you do the contemporary, or then you do the modern or whatever, but without base it's quite heavy. So I think so it's very important to know that palm duct in the beginning was, and all this structure is growing everywhere. So it's, yeah.
Liz, do you want to come back to what you were saying about palm duct? Did you have more to add to that too?
Not so much, just that I think that was about that preceded Palazzo. Actually, I think when Palazzo came in and stayed in Berlin, like every year, was around the time that Palm Duck closed.
Yeah, but still, it was the same owner. The Hans Peter Waters was all the time there, so he's like a base.
Who is the main contact for Palazzo right now? If you want to work there, or if you want to have a particular type of role there, who's in charge? Who do you reach out to?
I think so. It's a question to Bertan. He was last year there. I mean, I know who. But
yeah, I had the wonderful luck to get to know the amazing team of Palazzo, and Steffi is like the artistic director, I would say, and she's just amazing. I mean, last year was probably a bit rougher than usually because it was the first year after Corona, like first time after Corona that they restarted, and it was just like a lot, I guess. But she was like handling it so good, and she came in so often, and yeah, in total, I would say it was a really good time, and the cast was like a family, and yeah, it was a really nice contract, I would say.
That's great. I love Steffi. She really wanted to make it today, but you know, this season everything is starting, so everyone again is super, super busy. And so what is it like right now in Berlin? It's the end of October. What is the contract season like right now? I know everyone is busy, but what does busy look like specifically in Berlin with circus like Palazzo? What is your schedule like there? When are the rehearsals starting for everybody? How long are they going to last? You know, with Q Space, what is that like during the season too? Are people like coming in and out for trainings and rehearsals a lot because there's events coming up and people are maybe doing like one-off specialty shows right now too, outside of long-term contracts? Anyone jump in? What is it like?
Yeah, for Palazzo, I will just jump in there. Like last year was around this time. I also see the Instagram stories right now, like people come in for rehearsals. I think it started like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and yeah, like around October they get ready, and then I would say somewhere around beginning November the season starts, and then into the Christmas time, and then slightly outside of the next year, February, and then in somewhere there it ends. And yeah, right now, as you mentioned, people like in Palazzo, they're probably super busy setting up the shows, and it's a Berlin and German thing, I think, to have these Christmas and like winter contracts and a lot of corporate events, because like many companies towards the end of the year want to maybe have a thing for their employees, and then like make these events, and then this is where really business booms, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially don't forget that Roncalli will come also in the winter time. They will be in Tempodrome. I'm sorry. So they already started to also to prepare everything. So actually, you know, it's very Berlin. It's very active in the winter. Actually, I mean, it's normal actually. If in Potsdam they start the Weihnachtsmarket, it's when they already started or still not? It's soon. It's very. They start
Yes.
very in the middle of October. They start already.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, for the tourists, it's wonderful. So yeah, everything starts slowly to grow right now.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of in the opposite. I'm kind of coasting into the end of the year. I just finished. We just opened a new show at Friedrichstadtpalast, so that creation period was always a bit special, as creation periods always are. So I have a few smaller things, some workshops, some little projects here and there, but I'm actually looking forward to just kind of coasting into the gray fog of Berlin.
Do you like do you come back and forth kind of with the show, Brennan, at Friedrichstadtpalast? I mean, and again, for people that aren't familiar with Friedrichstadtpalast, it is huge. It is such a big show. And for your role there, do they call upon you throughout this time? I mean, like Friedrichstadtpalast is pretty like year round, which is again like kind of unique in Berlin, because some shows only run in the winter time. Some shows have like, you know, like performances during the summertime, but then they can be dark in some of the other months in Berlin, and then everybody goes really hard in the winter time. For those that are not familiar with the German winter, get ready, because it's very, very full on. If you've never experienced it before, but that's again where the work is, where the amazing opportunity is. So how is that, Brennan, there?
Yeah, the show runs almost year round. They take a month off in July for summer holidays, and then a couple shorter breaks there. They brought me in, I guess it was just about 5 years ago now. Just as, you know, Cirque Dragon, these large companies, they bring in a lot of gymnasts and kind of teach them how to do circus and how to do acrobatics. Palast also kind of wanted a similar role, but from those with a dance background. You know, you have these long, beautiful, strong male and female dancers that have the lines, have the flexibility, that just kind of need a little more knowledge and a little more guiding on how to get them up in the air to do some of these things. So I train with them pretty much every week. I watch the show every week to just kind of give feedback to make sure things are moving in the right direction. The show also has like large acrobatic acts. So oftentimes you'll see acts that, you know, have come from Monte Carlo or from, you know, these other large circus festivals. This year they did things a little bit differently. So they brought together a choreographer, Adesia, to really create new acts. So kind of more in the vein of a Cirque or a Dragon, of like, okay, let's take all these individual artists and let's create something in the house, rather than kind of a plug and play of an act that's already created, which is also very interesting and cool to see something come to life that has never been seen somewhere else.
Who would you say is the main contact right now there at Friedrichstadtpalast? And are there auditions for Friedrichstadtpalast? You know, how does employment vary?
Oftentimes in Germany, things are done very far in advance. So I think they may even already be done with this. So every 2 years there's a new show at Palast. And Sebastian, who works a lot with hiring artists and in the casting department, there, I'm pretty sure he's already talking to people for the next show. I'm not exactly sure what the next show will entail. I'm not privy to those details. For this show, because they did hire generalists, there was a casting call. We worked with Mel Bayol, which I'm sure some of you guys know. She was very integral in the process of bringing together all these artists. So, you know, like everything, it's kind of just keeping your eyes peeled and keeping those networks open to see, oh, did you hear something? Oh yeah, I heard this. Oh yeah, send it to here. Because like we all know, it's always evolving, it's always changing.
And speaking to the very far out bookings, I think that's, again, it's something very unique to Germany, where I've seen people that they have a contract for 4 years from now. they'll be at any of those shows 4 years from now, and they don't even have the concept for the show, but that person or that group has the contract for that winter season. And sometimes when I say that to people that are not familiar with like the Berlin or German scene, they think that's crazy. They're like, how would you even know where you are in 4 years? Like, what if something changes in your life, and how can you kind of adapt to that?
They live in advance. They're before than all the planet. Germany, it's planned everything before, like, they still have the plan
crazy,
after the apocalypse. After the apocalypse, they have some of the plans in the future. I mean, okay, but still, it's a German mentality, I guess, so to plan all the stuff like that. And I mean, and you know what funny is? I would say that more than 50%, even more, 60, 70%, it works. It works. The idea, like to look in the future, sometimes it's helped. And plus, I think so. It's a good thing also for the artists to know that even in 2 years they have something, so they keep in shape. So even the pandemic time, but they know that for example, like in 2023 they're gonna have a contract. So in 2020. They keep in shape because they okay, it's gonna finish somehow. It's gonna finish, and we have to be ready. So it's a motivation, because actually, what in my own experience, I look around after the Corona, and I realize that a lot of artists are just stopped, or they change it completely. They change it completely, the way of the type of work and the way of looking, where to look. So, and I mean, from one side, it's bad. On the other side, it's a true of life. So we're gonna see. I mean, we have to see also I would say the world moves, where the world moves, circus world, particularly, where we going actually? Because when I saw, like, it's the same. For example, the Berlin Circus School where Bertan was studying. I see the huge difference between 2008, 2009, 2010, and right now. I mean, the quality on even of the students are better. It's not that it was bad, but it's better. It's a good thing. I mean, but from the other way, from the opposite way, in Ukraine, I see, for example, even before the war, even before all these things, I saw that Ukraine Kiev school was many years like top of the top. It was the top one. But later on, I mean, you see the difference. You see the change. It's not because the teachers are not good or something like this. It's because the time are changing. Kids are more on a phone, on a computer, IT technology, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. So of course and first of all, circus heavy. We have to admit that circus it's a hard job. It's heavy. It's painful. It's heavy. It's stressful. I mean, there are thousands of things. Of course, you get your own bonus of like applauding and applause and everything, but still, it's a stress. And I agree that a lot of kids are thinking, okay, why should I? I agree with that. But like we said, to come back to planning a bit in the future, I think so. It's a good thing. Even if something will be wrong and it would not work at all, but this motivation keep the artist being in shape. So in that way, I think so. Especially in circus, I don't say about that. We don't talk about the circus German system of being the future. So you cannot die because you have the termin in 4 or 5 months you're gonna go to the doctor, so you are not allowed to die in that moment. So it's also a question of motivation. You can't go straight ahead, but still. Yeah. So, and circus, that Berlin, on my own opinion, since last 10 years, circus in Berlin start to be more progressive. I mean, we see more of circus, even like space areas where to rehearse, and it's still open. For instance, we have like. We have a Vola production, Vola company with Annette Simon. They right now they prepare to open their own space also. so to work. So there are some stuff which open somehow, somewhere, and it's good. I think so. It's necessary. And slowly, this year, for example, just it sounds not. It's gonna sound a bit like a publicity, but it's not. This year we brought the international conference Show Your Show in Berlin. Actually, we did this in many years in Ukraine, and this year we brought this. I mean, shortly it was like not the full idea what we wanted to do, but it was a short conference, and it's good that we had Pavel Kota, we had also Steffi there, we had people from Dragon, we had people from Europa Park, so we had a lot of people, a lot of the circus community who wanted to be part of it. And yeah, some things are happening in Berlin, and it's, I think, circus things, and I think it's very nice.
Yeah, I think some of this German, like we were saying, this nature of planning ahead is also great from a creative standpoint, because if you know, okay, I have this act, boom, that's booked. I have money coming in. I don't need to stress about, okay, maybe I should change my act to get a show here, or maybe I should change it to do this. When you have that already in your head of, okay, I'm good, I can breathe, I can think, I can focus on more development, more creativity. And I think that's also why the Berlin scene is really kind of opening, because people, you know, it's just turned into this kind of oasis of creativity where everybody, yeah, they go off to their own things, but they have this very safe place here where they can just kind of let the creative juices go wild and see what comes, and not be worried about, oh, is it going to be a waste of time? Maybe it won't work, maybe nothing will come, and then I won't have any jobs, and then what will I do? And then, you know, all this tension comes. And I think this idea of planning ahead, I mean, practically business wise, yes, absolutely, but I think also mentally and creatively, it's really a game changer for everybody.
Cool.
Are we saying that it's affordable to be in Berlin? There was a certain time where Berlin was considered extremely affordable. And not every single person that's coming or that's immigrating is going to be living there and paying their own way. Sometimes the companies are offering that, or, you know, there's many different commitments there. But in terms of like Q Space, for example, Liz, you guys are expanding. How difficult is that to do with a space like yours? And how profitable has it been for you to be able to expand Q Space? I see that there are a lot of circus schools and independent circus spaces opening up in Berlin. So it seems like it might be a place where it is more accessible financially. But do you find it being very expensive? Are you coming up against things like that? And, you know, what is the flow like in terms of having students there, in terms of like accessibility with rates and things? I'm glad you're back. Liz, I'm sorry, but you're muted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think there's two ways to talk about it. There's one, like, from the perspective of having a space and what commercial property is like now in Berlin, and then also like what it is to be an artist and finding a place to live and all of that. So I think both have gone up in, for sure, gone up in price quite dramatically, quite quickly. So I think it's not as easy if you speak to somebody from Berlin to find a place to live here. It seems very expensive compared to New York, compared to Paris, compared to other metropolitan cities. We're catching up to that. And
Yikes.
yeah.
Slowly, but
That's unfortunate to hear.
But it's still, relatively speaking, the cost of living is mostly lower than most places. In terms of having a space, we're super lucky to have a space like right in the center of Berlin, which is not so common. There's a couple of spaces that tend to be a little bit on the outskirts. And we expanded, to be honest. We had a lot of, we're lucky to be in Germany. Circus spaces started to get funding from the government during the pandemic, so we benefited from that, and that's what helped allow us to expand. And so some people would have called me crazy for doing this. And it's working. I would say it's working, but it's not something. It's profitable because we can We can have a kids program. We can have an adult recreational program, and these things pull the weight for a lot of the creative things that we do and that we want to do. And we offer for the professionals kind of like a training home, so we don't have kind of the turnover of daily training. But the people decide to, okay, this is where I want to train. This is where I want to be. I know the people here. I can come and go as I please. I can keep my things here. So we kind of like 3 or 4 different, in German you say Standbein, like places, income sources. So we've like kind of diversified our income in terms of the space and also in terms as a professional artist at this point. So my income or my partner's income now doesn't depend only on performance. We're also teaching and producing and running Q Space, and we rent the space also to companies that need to have their own rehearsals for the shows that are coming up, things like this. I think even Chameleon at some point was rehearsing in our space when they ran out of space there. And so we're kind of sharing the spaces here in Berlin that way.
Yeah, we also rehearsed at your space, and it was really
That's
amazing.
right, you did.
With the analog. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it's a really wonderful space for whoever watches this and is in Berlin. Go check out Q Space.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's
also
nice and warm in the winter, which is very important.
Good
Oh,
to know.
yeah.
Good to know.
Especially to know the winter in Berlin.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's not just the winter. It's not like winter of 3 months. No.
No.
It's more than 6 slowly. It goes very slow to
And
the
it's
8
great.
months.
8 or
Really
9
cool.
months.
And
Yeah.
it's wonderful gray. People
Yeah.
who love the gray sky, welcome.
All welcome to Berlin. Bertan, you are a new parent in Berlin. And so I was curious. I don't know if that was a secret, but
Oh no, it's not.
okay.
Oh.
And so, how is it being a parent and doing circus in Berlin? We had some guests today that were actually going to be here. They are parents, but they had some, some things happen with their kids, so that's why they did not join today. And that's normal. That's typical. But I would say not every single city that you can move to that's a circus city supports being a parent and doing our job. Our schedules are weird. Sometimes you don't have access to childcare, depending on if you're in your country of origin, or kind of like how far away you are from anything, what country you're in, and how close you are to maybe your immediate family or friends that can help you. And not every company is able to offer. I've been in many contracts in Berlin where the kids are backstage and people can bring their babies from time to time, and they can be there, for a certain period of time, and then they maybe have to go. But that was normal before, and that's how some artists and people that have different roles within the circus have adapted and using the space. But how has it been so far for you combining the two?
Since my son is like 4.5 months old now, I didn't had too much of combining, I would say. But I took a clear decision when I knew I'm gonna become a father, and I always had this topic, and I guess many of us will have at some point, how to combine these things, and because we have a career where we have to travel a lot, and sometimes in circus you don't know where your next week will be, and then some show get canceled and some other show happens, so that's all crazy to schedule when you have a kid and baby probably. For me, I took the decision to be off a bit. I had really full 13 years of performing, and I would say as a circus performer, we also sacrifice a lot, like birthdays and weddings and all of that. We don't show up sometimes because we're on stage, we're performing, which is great. But right now, when my son saw the light of the day, I said to myself, I want to have some time at home and I didn't accept some wonderful longer contracts that would have been outside of Berlin, to have some quality time at home, especially for the first year. And but luckily there's a lot of corporate events happening, so I decided to, because I still have to pay rent, you know,
Oh,
we talked
really?
about Berlin.
You're kidding.
About Berlin, how expensive it became. Yeah, so this is the decision I took. For now, longer contracts I paused, and I will go more for short contracts, a day or two, and then hop out and hop in again. Yeah, and what the future brings and where I see myself and how it will happen, yeah, I'm still in the figuring out phase, and but I have time, and right now I really enjoy being here. Yeah, but like to that, I definitely saw that also families in the past, they, yeah, as you mentioned, they brought their kids, and it was actually always super cute, like when they had the kids in the backstage. For the kids, I think was also fun, you know, they were before the show jumping around from prop to prop, and like I was juggling sometimes with the son or daughters of my colleagues, and yeah, that they become part of the family then. Yeah, and it's because that's what we in a way are in a huge circus family. Yeah,
I think that family support is so important in shows, and it always makes me a little bit sad to hear that, you know, some shows don't offer family support, because I think, you know, like you were saying, there's so many sacrifices, there's so many holidays missed, birthdays missed, all this. But then when you realize that, okay, there are families together, and at least in my experience, all those families have really kind of welcomed everybody into this kind of big extended family. And of course, like all families, that doesn't mean everybody gets along, but I think it's such important, again, this idea of our mental health, of feeling like we do belong, like there is this community, like we're not just kind of off alone doing our own thing while the rest of our world is over here, but to kind of bridge those together.
mm-hmm.
This is also something I really try, like was one of the founding like reasons or mission statements of QSpace, is to really give people, like I said, a training home, a circus home where they can, what I can say about the group that's here now, I think we have around 15 to 20 professional artists coming in and out, is everyone knows each other, they're supportive, they give feedback if they want or not, or I've never seen, you know, if you're missing something, somebody has it there, or it's, and I think we've been very lucky in the last years. I can say, like, there's not, I mean, everyone who walks in there is absolutely lovely. Like from the teachers that we have to the people who train there to, and we, to the kids, to the parents, to, I mean, it's really people who come to the shows. We're really lucky in that sense, and I really try to foster that as a place where people in Berlin or in general in Europe can come and, if they stay for a while, have a place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it's easy if you're not German to come in, to immigrate into Berlin and to be there and to make your life there? Do you feel like it's relatively easy, or is it complicated?
I mean, I came a long time ago. When I came, for me, I felt like it was relatively easy. I know that in the last, I would say 10 years, a lot of the laws have changed, a lot of the paperwork that has to be done, and the requirements to get your visa or to get a permanent visa, which I was lucky enough to get, becomes more complicated. I would say it's still relatively easy, especially if someone coming from perhaps the States is a little bit easier, I know. But you have to jump through a few more hoops than you used to. But we're circus artists, so it shouldn't be a problem.
At least in my experience. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say that's something I noticed and loved about Berlin too. Like as a Berliner, like I got the chance to meet so many people from all around the world who came here. Like I found Berlin to be a place where people come and go, but some stay, and it's really through that there's so much nationality, so much cultures, and in general Berlin has that. So I am from here, but from what I saw, people had not a hard time to, you know, to get to know people. And we also have a huge bar and party scene, and you know, you can be out there and have a good time and connect with people. It's not really, maybe the weather is gray, but we are all colorful and happy people in a way.
Where would you say are the most central areas in Berlin? If we can throw out like some names of spaces. We're coming to a close for this series, and thank you, everyone. You guys are so fantastic and so great. It's such a wonderful episode. But Berlin to me is also really amazing in terms of circus because it's so central and it's so connected to so many other cities. You can go in and out of Berlin very easily. There's a lot of other neighboring cities and neighboring shows that are very accessible from Berlin, which I've always loved. It's just a train right away. If you happen to have a car, it's a car right away. And I've always felt that that's what kept me very connected in Berlin, more so than probably many other cities that I've ever lived in a lot of parts of the world that are very centralized with circus. Does everyone else feel the same? And yeah, where is the community hotspots in Berlin?
I think so. There are different. You know what funny is that when you took Berlin, first of all, for me, there are no center of Berlin. It's not existing. I mean, because of the wall, because whatever, what you don't have a like middle, like Alexanderplatz. This is the way where I'm going. No, so you take the Kudamm. It's also no. So it's like somewhere between. And the funny thing is, actually, for example, the circus school, what you're searching for. So you can found in the north. If you search for some place, even you can find the training space also. So you can find in different parts of Berlin. I mean, it's my own opinion. In different parts of Berlin, you can find something. You can find the Circus is somewhere in the different. There are 3 of them, I think. So it's also places. Mm-hmm. So or you take you take like any areas, they're completely different. It's to say, okay, this is the middle of circus life, I doubt that we have it. Or guys, I don't know what you think.
No, it's
no
true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
go.
you can find everywhere. And the funny thing is, it's also, on my point of view, it's different. It's a different, I mean, it looks like the same city. It looks like it's the same circus community. But for me, it's not. You go on the circus school on that's in Pankow way in direction, you see who rehearse there. So you have down, there are people who rehearse also in Potsdam, a bit far, a bit out from Berlin. It's also nice. And you see people, and it's a different people and a different even type of acting they're rehearsing. So it's also interesting to see. You like I said, you can't say that this is the middle and just over there everything is happening. And in one way, it's very nice. And plus, you travel, you talk with people. So don't forget, especially that when you create your act and when you rehearse, you need to know where to buy the tissue for your costume, where to order the props, who can do this, who can do that. And this traveling helps you to find it out. Some people order this in Ukraine, it's delivered. Some people do it in Poland. Some people do in Germany, very in south of Germany. But you find all the time this connection because you have different people, different location, and different type of acts everywhere. This is my point.
Amazing. Would anyone like to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say Berlin, I find has a place for every type of person, every type of style, and that's, I think, really one of the key points of Berlin. You know, when you are whatever style you're bringing, and also on the other side, people from here are really welcoming. If you bring your style, they will be super excited to see it, and you will find your people, crew, whatever, who will hang out with you and work on that. So if you more to the new circus stuff, you will find people who like doing that. Then classical circus, like variety, cabaret, comedy, you know, whatever. Like there's so many genres and people here. I think that's what also really is cool about Berlin. Yeah.
And also the possibility to try some stuff, because actually, if you take the yellow pages, every day in Berlin, you have about thousands of shows, different, big ones, small ones, but thousands. So in any area, in restaurant, in cafe or whatever, in the small theaters, you have one-man show, or you have the people who trying to do something, and it's also good. I mean, it's a nice way to try something. Of course, it's not so easy. Of course, it's not the city of miracles. Of course, it's a hardcore like everywhere. We have to accept this, but still, we can find the possibilities to perform, to build your own act, or to find somebody who can help you to build your act, or somebody who can help you with the choreography. Sometimes you don't have to even to pay, because you share something or you participate somewhere, and it's good change, because many circus young students or artists, they come and say, come on, they have not that budget that they can spend 5,000 here, 5,000 there, 5,000 there. So they find, and it's a possibility to find the connection. And plus, if you work in exchange with someone, so you find the different people, and it's like this experience. Then it's come the German language, which is supposed to learn. There are thousands of things which are not so easy, but still it's a possibility. And what good is in Berlin, when you're in a country where people have a tradition to enjoy the varieties, to enjoy the circus. So even in France, it's difficult to find that thing. So Germany, it's a place for variety. So many artists, why they're here, why we are here, many artists are here, because anyway, in a year, one of the variety make 2 or 3 shows in a year. So you have more chance to get in, to show your art. And this actually makes Germany so attractive for the circus artists. Because if you take America, or if you take different places, if you take France also, or Italy, there are some, and we'll say some place where to perform. But if you took like variety, just Germany. Dinner show, mainly dinner show, it's Germany. So, and it's a good tradition, and it's nice that the audience is open to take everything what you give. So I think so that is why Berlin in Germany itself, it's nice area for the professional artists, or for the young artists to be part of the circus community.
That's beautiful. Liz, Brennan, do you want to leave us with something quickly as we close out the show?
No, just come give it a try. Like all cities, it's not for everybody, but you never know unless you give it a whirl.
I would say the same thing. It's absolutely, I found this, I mean, I stayed for almost 20 years, so I must have something to offer.
We are in the same boat, 20, 70 years, we're in the same boat.
I won't say how many years, but yes, exactly. All of us, we love Berlin. I love Berlin. Like you were saying, Ivan, the reception from the audiences that you get in Berlin and in Germany is unlike something you will ever experience. And I truly, truly believe that with the reception I've received with audiences. I did want to say that Germany was just recognized as an official art form, or circus arts was just recognized in Germany as an official art form by UNESCO. And so that's beautiful. I can't believe that that didn't exist before. If you think about the popularity and the integrity of circus within Germany, it just seems crazy to me that that just happened. But it's so fitting.
Big accomplishment for those who fought in the political realms for that, because it took a lot of work and a lot of time. And it's really fantastic that they succeeded in this.
Yes, I would give a shout out to the European Circus Association. Helmet, they worked avidly. And it's also, too, making sure that we give a shout out to the traditionalists that are fully represented within Berlin Circus, within German Circus, because they are the ones that were doing this day in and day out to get that recognition. And it's very special. So that's a great celebration. Thank you, everyone. I love Berlin. It's such a rad city to be in and to do circus in, and it has so much to offer. And again, everything I think is doable in Berlin. That's what I've always felt when I've been there. You can experiment, you can kind of get away with anything, and people will be into it, and they'll be very supportive. And that's a great space to be in. So I would take that into my understanding, or into my idea of wanting to be in Berlin if I have never been. And for those that were there and are thinking about coming back, I think there's always a space for you. Berlin seems to continuously evolve. There's obviously more support in Berlin now too, which I'm so happy to keep hearing that. That sounds very encouraging, because the circus still needs that from everything that we've been through. And so this is Circus Cities, Spotlight Berlin, with your host, Shenea Stiletto. Again, thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you to our fantastic guests. I think anyone coming away from this episode will fall in love with Berlin like we all have. Here's to more circus happening in Berlin.